Hello there, all of my YouTube people. This is my second attempt at recording this video because these older Logitech USB headsets sound great, but it is extremely easy to mute the mic just when you're trying to turn the volume up, which apparently I did last video. And there's no indicator other than the blinking light here, if it's blinking, that tells you that you've done so. Um, it's really it's really ruined a few videos for me. But maybe I can cut it down this time. So basically, I had what you would call a rare thing these days. I actually had a job interview at a supermarket today. Very popular supermarket chain. Blue is not their color. Their color is red, and they don't sell any general merchandise. That should narrow it down a bit without me having to say it. Um, these guys are typically considered a really great place to work. Um, so my dad suggested, hey, the store out here isn't that far away. You might check and see if they're hiring. So I did and applied for a position that I qualified for. There's no point in applying for anything you don't qualify for these days because there are a million people looking for a job that do qualify for it. So I applied. I went through their really kind of bullshitty digital interview process, which I really don't think I did great on that. But I was surprised when they sent me an email and wanted me to come in for an in-person interview. So the position I actually applied for was overnight stocker for the pharmacy department, and that was the advertised schedule for that was 9 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. Or sorry, 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Now, those of you that know DFW probably know that is probably the quietest gap of time on DFW roadways. Our evening rush hour starts at about 3 when like the 7 a.m. crowd starts going home, and really lasts kind of sometimes up into the 8 o'clock hour. Um, even sometimes it's busy all night. Really, I mean, from just a hey, it's 3 a.m. and I'm still seeing cars go by, kind of aspect. There are times when it's dead. But I would say 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. is probably our again our quietest street time. So I'm thinking like that's pretty cool because it beats both rush hours essentially. Um, Now it is important to note that we do start getting a little more busy traffic wise at about 4:30 a.m. Um, by 6:30 a.m. man, is it really hopping out there? I mean, that's really when morning rush hour is. The the eight like the 8 a.m. hour, it just really isn't as busy as you might think. So yeah, I was thinking like, yeah, I mean, the store's 25-ish minutes away in lighter traffic. It's a little farther than I wanted to go. I was really looking for something a little closer to home, but I'm pretty desperate at this point. So, just to make a long story shorter, I I went through their really uncomfortable digital interview process. Got the in-person interview. Was asked to show up 15 minutes early. I did so. The first thing that felt off is now that I think back on it, it's really weird to tell somebody who doesn't know your store or um, isn't actually an employee to just go this way, go this way, go this way, go into the back room, and then take this hallway all the way down. It's like, okay. I mean, it'd be kind of cool if somebody could just take me there, but I'll try and figure that out. Not my first time in a grocery store, so I basically wandered into the back room and ran into the person who was going to interview me, which turned out to be a Caucasian lady about my age. Um, I know appearances can be deceiving, but I would say she didn't play on my team at a glance. That would be my guess. Again, that's assumption, but you know that's how it felt. But still, middle-aged Caucasian lady, so kind of like me, but so which was interesting because I haven't been interviewed by a person my age in a good while. So we start kind of going through the interview. Everything seems to be going pretty well, and then um, I was like, so how long before I would qualify for benefits? Because in Texas, if you work at least 30 hours, that's sort of considered full time from a benefits standpoint. Believe actually 32 hours is considered full time in Texas. 30, but you have to work at least 30 to qualify for benefits. And if that's all you're scheduled for, it can be tough because you really have to maintain really close to that 30 hours. If you fall too much, they nix your benefits. I've had that happen before. And she's like, "Oh, you signed up for part time, so you don't actually qualify for benefits." I was like, "Well, I mean, 30 hours is considered full time in this state, or qualifies you for benefits in this state. You advertise the job as 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. By my math, that's 7 hours, and you, by Texas law again, would have to give me at least half an hour lunch. So I assume that because it's 7 hours, you're going to give me an hour lunch and pay me for six. So my math says that works out to 30 hours a week, and she's like, "Oh, no, 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 no. See, that's just when we wanted you available." I'm like, "Well, what do you mean? What?" And she's like, "Well, you'll probably actually be scheduled for a full shift. Often it'll be 9 to 5:30, or 10 to 6:30, and it's like with a half hour lunch." And it's like, well, I mean, that already blows. Either of those schedules already blows morning rush hour. So, you know, now you went from being able to get home in half an hour to probably an hour. So that takes what you're making down. Um, you always need to factor in your commute time. That is time that you're giving work and not getting paid for. So that takes your hourly down technically, um, and adds stress. The morning rush hour can be just really hectic. Um, I'm like, well, um, okay, but so that should be more hours per week. Then, and she's like, "Oh, no, 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 no. See, you're really gonna only work two, perhaps three shifts per week. You see, so basically, we try and keep you around 28 hours. So basically, you're fucking everybody out of their benefits. Is really what you're saying." Um, what is on my nose? All of a sudden, that's just a shadow. Oh, weird. So really, what you're doing is you're just fucking everybody out of their benefits, right? I mean, again, I didn't say it like that, but that's what they're doing. And then I was like, so I suppose that I also wouldn't qualify or accrue any PTO or anything like that. She's like, oh yeah, part timers don't qualify for anything, anything. And a lot of part timers choose to work holidays because you get time and a half for that with our company still. So you know that's like free money. It's like it's not nothing's free if you're working for it. Um, so uh, it was like had you advertised this job properly, I wouldn't have even applied for it. You know what I mean? It's like I mean, the interview kind of, she was noticeably miffed when I was asking these questions because it's like I can't I can't blow smoke up this guy's ass because he's worked in corporate America too long and has been screwed over by companies like ours too many times to huff my farts. And um, I was just thinking that this company used to be called one of the best companies in Texas to work for as far as like a supermarket chain went. And now here you are using AI to manage your interviews and doing anything you can to get the most out of people while you're providing like practically nothing. Again, they literally only have to schedule you for 4 hours a week. Can you imagine that you might only work like 16 hours a month at that job? And you've got to interview, you've got to like do two interviews, for three. You got the digital interview, there's the first in-person interview, and then there's the second in-person interview if you get it. And this is for a stocking job. Um, Again, I've worked in retail around a decade. Stocking is something that I could do with my, blindfolded. Um, then, and I already kind of knew this to a certain extent. Um, she was like, so it's not really just pharmacy because, like, even at the other retailer I worked at, pharmacy and HBA were kind of in the same department, so you had to stock them both. So I figured there'd be another department to stock, but it turns out that it's like the pharmacy and the entire GM section of this store, which is small because it's primarily a supermarket, but they do have a small GM section. And it's like this is absolutely like a horrendous deal for the hours that you're not guaranteeing and the pay. Um, it's just very discouraging. Um, and I and several people who are subscribers to my channel are fans of universal basic income, and situations like this demonstrate why it's probably just going to be necessary at some point because it's like how they say like Americans are too lazy to work on a farm. It's not that we're too lazy. I worked on a ranch for like 6 years. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily mind going out and working in the sun or whatever. I wouldn't like it, but I wouldn't mind doing it. I just can't afford to do it for $9 an hour, which is like exactly why some vegetable picker named Paco is not taking American jobs. You know, I mean, certain people can think that all they want. Now, if you wanna get on the H-1B motherfuckers, then yeah, maybe those people are. That might be the program that you could be upset at. But some guy here legitimately on a work residency like that's picking vegetables is for $7 to $9 an hour is not taking American jobs. Okay, an American who isn't willing to live with three or four other families or on the work site wouldn't be able to afford to even drive out there to do that job. It would turn that job into like $5 an hour real quick. And it's getting to be like that's what normal jobs are starting to turn into as well. Like I almost it is almost going to cost me more to work this than you know. And look, I like having my lights on and everything like that, but at some point it is very difficult to just get by. Anybody who lived in the Rio Grande Valley up until like the 2010s knows exactly what I'm talking about. It was a dismal existence there because every job pays 725, and it's like all you can do is pay your bills and maybe eat if you're lucky. And that is an extremely dismal way to live because you basically have nothing, and you know you're indentured to someone to just get by. You know what I mean? And I just feel like if jobs are going to continue to go this way, if they're going to be continually just unprofitable for most Americans to work, because that again, this job took this place took 25 minutes to get to. Now that they're moving me into the morning rush hour, it's going to take an hour to get away from. Um, it's eating up more of my day, uh, and therefore more of the income I'm making from it. Anyway, guys, the video's kind of gone on long enough. I could go on a little longer rant, but I think that I'm just gonna kind of leave it there. Um, this, I'm not sure if I told you guys an interview with a somewhat with a popular guy. I can't really say because in a way it's still kind of up in the air, but I interviewed at this place. I literally got to this interview after being in a car accident. Okay, I was in a car accident. I got to the interview late. I called them when the accident happened, and had a really good interview. Um, the interviewer was a millennial, though, uh, and, and I even got told like my answers were great. Like they it seemed like a really good interview, and it was still a no. Um, I even had a referral from another branch, a different branch manager. Um, it's very rough out there. They call the market competitive. Anyway, that's going to be that. It's good touching base with all of you guys. I'm glad to be able to provide you another video. Um, and Goemonronin signing out.